Hey, how's it going, everybody? Charlie Wilson here, aka Sinister Charlie. Welcome back. Hi. Hello. Hello. Good to see you again. We've got some military stuff. I was in the military. Why not talk about it? So yeah, this is by Half as Interesting. We're going to subscribe. We're going to like, because that's how cool we are. U.S. military's fast food division. I don't know if it's actually talking about fast food or if it's talking about the CSs, like in the Navy we call them CS. I think it's culinary specialist. If they're talking about like fast food chains, when I was stationed in Hueneme, we used to have a McDonald's, but then they took it away because of like some kind of protest or something. I don't know. They take good things away from us. But yeah, but also like when you go overseas, you'll see fast food chains on military bases. You'll see McDonald's. You'll see there was a Cinnabon when I went to Iraq at the Baghdad International Airport, which is now a military base, or it used to be. I don't know what it is now, but this was back in like 2007, 2008. So. Yeah, I don't know. You'll notice that a lot, and it's like it's nice to have that overseas. In Japan, there was a Chili's, so that's really cool. Why have really good sushi when you could have Chili's? Anyway, there's my intro. This guy's gonna shoot something, I think. All right, let's go.
The U.S. military is really, really good at shooting things.
Sure.
But it has a problem. Americans need their daily nutritional intake of microplastics and corn syrup, or they start to get irritable and engage in dangerous activities like walking, empathy, and learning about foreign countries. So, in order for the military to fulfill its God-given mission of growing Raytheon shareholder value, it's critically important to cater to the troops.
I already like this guy. This is the first video I've seen of his, and I'm in, dog. I'm in. You got it spot. Maybe this guy was in the military before or something.
Unique nutritional needs no matter where oil is found next. That's why the U.S. military is one of the largest fast food franchisors in the world, operating some 3,000 branded restaurants on its bases and facilities worldwide, and creating some of the most far-flung outposts of the most recognizable American.
There was a Pizza Hut in Al-Assad when I was in Iraq, and it tasted like fish. I don't know why. It just did, and I don't trust it. I didn't trust it after that. So, I was convoy security in Iraq, so I was all over Iraq, and there were fast food places all over.
American brands. For example, this is Kwajalein Atoll. It's pretty awesome. Right. It's in the Marshall Islands. It's about a 5-hour flight west of Hawaii, and it's where the Americans test their missile defense systems for the next time Kim or Vlad or she feels cucked. More importantly, it's home to the most isolated Burger King in the world. The outpost operates within the base's rather limited food court, and not only counts as the only international fast food chain location on Kwajalein, but the only in the entire Marshall Islands. In fact, according to proprietary HI research that you really shouldn't trust, the next nearest location of a major international fast food chain, if we exclude the subway sitting right next to it, is this McDonald's 1,500 miles away in the American territory of the Northern Marianas Islands. And this actually isn't the only instance where the military makes the only location of a fast food chain in a country. One of the best known is at the beach resort where they're really obsessed with what you were up to in September 2001, Guantanamo Bay. The McDonald's looks straight boomer era and even features a drive-thru.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that roof.
The on-base McDonald's looks straight boomer era.
I miss it. Not this modern art bullshit. Not this modern architecture that has no soul. That has soul. Memories.
And even features a drive-thru, even though it's the only McDonald's in Cuba due to Cuban laws and the U.S. embargo. But the bulk of the U.S. military's fast food outlets exist within major overseas installations like Camp Humphreys in South Korea, home to around 4,000 personnel and 40 million nuggets. Given this scale, the Army and Air Force Exchange Service operates a sprawling retail complex, including a supermarket pretty identical to any stateside Kroger's, a U.S. post office branch that ships at domestic rates, a bowling alley, a movie theater, and a massive mall with dozens of shops. Throughout this and other areas of the base, there are 4 Subways, 3 Popeyes, 3 Starbucks, 2 each of Pizza Hut, Taco.
We had a Greenleaf coffee. I think it was Greenleaf coffee when I was in Iraq and a lot of other places. I didn't see a lot of Starbucks when I was in, but maybe they changed or something. I've been to quite a few bases. The worst base I've been to, like in terms of like modern conveniences and restaurants, was Suda Bay, Crete, Greece. It was just pretty much not even a base. It was just a long strip. There were no fast food places on that base. It's kind of sad, really, when you think about it.
Dunkin' and Qdoba, and an Arby's, Baskin-Robbins, Auntie Anne's, Panda Express, Quiznos, and Texas Roadhouse. And while of course South Korea has branches of many of these chains, these are different. The on-base variants are effectively outposts of the American divisions of these brands, rather than Korean. So in addition to operating in English and accepting US dollars, that means, for the most part, they offer the American menus of these brands, allowing soldiers to munch down a cheesy chalupa right before Baja blasting the North Koreans into the 19th century. Now, in order to allow for these regionally unique menus and locations, the military works with franchisors to build bespoke supply chains based on what's available in the surrounding area. Kwajalein, for example, is in a country with no domestic supply chain for Burger King and Subway, but the island receives regular ships and planes from Hawaii, which does, meaning, while costly, the sourcing is simple enough. The American military presence in South Korea, meanwhile, is so massive that Camp Humphreys also acts as a regional logistics hub for their food and beverage services. And while most of what that means is processing and distributing US-sourced products onward to other bases, there's one key resource that can't practically be shipped in from the US: bread. That's why they built this massive $20 million wholesale bakery. You see, the way fast food chains typically work is that they don't actually have their own production facilities. Rather, they certify third-party facilities to produce their products, so this military-run wholesale bakery is of the type that would typically produce breads for fast food franchises in the US. It also supplies military-run supermarkets in the region, producing Krispy Kreme donuts and Wonder Bread under license agreements. But perhaps the most incredible capability of the military's fast food division is its ability to set up inactive war zones. There's a prolific internet meme declaring...
There's a... I've been to the McDonald's in Kuwait, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's not nice, but it's funny because there's they still have the Ronald McDonald sitting outside of it, which is cool. It's nice when you get back from deployment and the first thing you see is McDonald's. It really makes you miss home. It makes you really, there's nothing like international travel to make you miss America, you know?
The U.S. military can deploy a fully operational Burger King anywhere in the world within 24 hours. This is not true, or at least is not something that actually happened, but reality isn't that far off. On March 20th, 2003, the U.S. invaded Iraq, which was a really good idea if you didn't think about it too hard. Bush said they had weapons of mass destruction.
I'm kind of a libertarian, so I like this guy's takes. It's pretty good.
Which they didn't. Then he said mission accomplished, which it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And 82 days later, the military opened its first Burger King in the country. The branch operated out of a trailer at Baghdad Airport, which acted as the U.S.'s base of operations. Ingredients were sourced from licensed commercial producers in Kuwait.
I've been to that Burger King. I don't know if it was still a trailer. I think it was a trailer when I went there.
Which had Burger King locations, and were trucked in via 3-day military convoys. Workers also came from Kuwait, flying in for 3-week rotations while sleeping in bunks behind the restaurant. But even more incredibly, within months of opening, this Burger King became one of the top 10 most successful branches in the entire world, cooking upwards of 5,000 patties a day. Now, Baghdad, while spicy, was far from the most active city of America's so-called war on terror. Over in Afghanistan, Kandahar was a true nexus of conflict since it was the...
I never got to go to Afghanistan. I know. Oh, I missed out. You know? I got out before our deployment to Afghanistan, so I've only been to Iraq.
Birthplace and spiritual home of the Taliban, the bad guys. The U.S. military stronghold in the region was, once again, at the airport, and despite the broader region gaining a reputation as one of the deadliest during the war, conditions within the walls were downright pleasant. The military built what they called the Kandahar Boardwalk as their R&R hub, and its crown jewel was a full-service, fully themed TGI Fridays. Now, as costly and complex as it was to operate at TGI Fridays in the middle of a battlefield, the military had good logic for doing so. War's kind of a bummer, so if you make war less of a bummer, the troops do war better. A disproportionate portion of troops come from rural and southern locales, and for better or worse, fast food is a big part of the culinary landscape in places like this. A relaxing evening at TGI Fridays after a long day of raiding Taliban outposts just always hits the spot. But this mission-critical access to loaded potato skins is coming under threat. In one of the worst things they've ever done, according to single-issue military cuisine voters, the new administration in Washington is making troops trim down. Over the past decade, the portion of them...
I think that's a good thing, though. I've seen some Navy, like when I was in, it was very rare to see somebody who was obese. It happened, but it was very rare. Now, from the stories I've seen and the pictures I've seen, it's like, especially like not really like the war, like the not necessarily combat troops, but the administrative side has really let themselves go. Yeah, I don't think you should get rid of these restaurants and stuff, but yeah, that's the command should really be on that stuff, you know.
Considered obese has more than doubled to 21%. The military has grown wary of both the optics and genuine effects of such statistics, so as part of their efforts to combat it, they're opening more fast casual restaurants offering Chipotle-style slop bowls. They're not closing fast food places yet, they're only using the carrot approach, even though carrots low-key suck. This appears prudent because if you can't finish your day of gunning down the baddies in the Valley of Kandahar on an Apache with a hot plate of loaded potato skins, then what's even the point of this whole war thing?
Yeah.
Another unfortunate truth about the American culinary landscape.
Sorry, I was just I was staring at the coffee. Sorry.
Is that coffee often sucks. For most of us, the best option is some nearby independent coffee shop, which, while great, involves shelling over $7 or $8 per cup. Ooh. So we make coffee at home and are faced with the options of bland and polluting pod coffee or whatever dismal beans our local grocery store offers. That's the problem Trade Coffee tries to solve.
Oh, this is an ad.
Locally owned coffee roasters all across the U.S. sourcing beans from all. Coming up, a trade subscription makes the
Okay. That was a nice transition, though. I thought they were going to start talking about like Greenleaf or Starbucks or something. But you sneaky Pete, you got me with the ads. Yeah, but there you go. It is good to get the fast food overseas. And most of the time you're overseas, depending on your rate, we call it in the Navy, we call it a rate, but your MOS, it just depends. Like I was a CB, so we did construction and we did PT 3 to 4 times a week. And then after that, I also went to the gym. I was a fitness coordinator when I was in Iraq, but like it just depends on your job because obviously administrative, they probably shouldn't eat as much fast food. And if they do, you should be working out consistently. But yeah. That's fun. That was a fun little video, and I like this guy's style. Give him a like and give him a subscribe. The channel is half as interesting. I got to check out more of that stuff. But and also please like and subscribe to my channel as well. It's a lot of fun. You'll find it to be fun too when you click that like button. You're like, whoa, that's crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And bye.